Good morning, Venezuela. In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 things that every prepper should have, right? You might have 1 or 2 of these items, but it takes a real dedicated person to have all 4 of these. And the reason why I'm posting this video is that there are things that I think that a lot of people overlook. When people decide to prep, they store canned food and they stockpile ammo to the rafters, right? But if SHTF were to happen, the most likely things are you're going to get sick, you're going to get injured, and those are things that will be absolutely devastating if SHTF were to happen. That's what's going to take up most people. Most people think it's going to be a war zone, but you're more likely to get sick or to get a disease in that type of scenario. And that's what takes people out. My grandfather was in World War II, 1st Marines Division in Guadalcanal. If you do the research, you read up on it, many of those dudes died from a mosquito bite, right? A lot of them, right? I don't know if it's more people died from bullets or mosquito bites, but it was an enormous amount of people died from malaria. So preventative medicine is like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure always, right? And these are 4 products that I've used during the good times, and they're 4 products that I'm absolutely going to have if things turn sideways. Number 1, most guys are going to balk at this, but this is something that I feel is very important. And you don't have to just think about this as for yourself, but you should, as a matter of fact. But you can use these things as barter material, because the chances if SHTF were to happen, if you were to run across someone that's sick or dealing with significant issues, is going to be elevated greatly, right? And these are things that if you can give someone their health back, man, they'll be your best friend. They'll be your best ally. Number 1 is going to be Monistat Vagina Cream, right? And most guys are going to say, why the hell you got that, right? Well, half of this world's women, right? So right there, this, if you're dealing with an issue like that, that's going to be terrible. But the reason why I first started using this is because I had toenails that were turning yellow, and I had a doctor, great doctor, just recently passed away at 80 something years old, but I showed him my yellow toenails, and he said, I can write you a prescription. You can go to the pharmacy and pay a $120 copay for this medication, or you can swallow your pride, go and buy some Monistat. And he said, you just put it on your toenails, and he said it works wonders. And boy, within 3 days, my yellow toenails went away, and they looked brand new, right? They looked like brand new nails. I couldn't believe it, right? And ever since then, I've had some of this in my stockpile. They do make 3 different strengths. They make a 7-day, a 5-day, and a 3-day. The 3-day is an extra strength, and so why even bother with getting the lesser strengths? Just get the best stuff you can get. And this, I think you get like 3 packs of these for, I don't know, it was $20 last time I bought it. But this works for rashes, works for athlete's foot, any type of fungal infection, right? If you're out working in the fields and you don't have running water, you might get a little cheddar down there, and it'll actually help you in that too. Another thing I'm going to talk about is medical grade honey, right? You could probably get away with using raw honey, right? But why? This is convenient. It's in a nice little bottle. Kind of expensive. I think this thing is like $15. But you get cuts, scrapes, wounds, you put this on there, it's going to actually increase the rate that you heal. It's dramatically. Like, it's going to cut it in half damn near. And this is something that I was turned on to by a wound doctor, and absolutely works wonders. Every prepper should have it regardless. Don't think that, you know better than the next person, right? Like if you talk about natural medicine to people, a lot of people are going to balk. They think that their doctor knows better because their doctor drives a Mercedes, so they must know best, you know? And I have a doctor right now that has diplomas in natural and Western medicine. So she has a very proactive approach to health, right? She always talks about natural eating. She says that you should not eat foods that don't rot. You know, instead of eating bread off of the shelf in those little bags that, you know, they last for 2-3 weeks, she said you should go to the bakery and get the stuff that lasts 3 days because that's healthier, it has less ingredients, less chemicals, right? Doesn't have all those preservatives in it. And I think that's something that I think everyone should do is try to live a little bit healthier, try to eat a little bit better. You're only as good as the fuel that you put in your body. So, anyways, honey works wonders, and anyone that says otherwise is full of shit. And this is something that a lot of doctors are going to say that you're nuts, right? But it's colloidal silver. This is something that has been used for 100 years plus, maybe more. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know in the early 1900s, gonorrhea was a big deal, right? And if a mother had gonorrhea and the baby was born, they would spray this in the baby's eyes to prevent the baby from contracting gonorrhea, right? And it worked in many circumstances to save that baby's life. Otherwise, the baby would die right away. And from what I've been told, it was like 50-50. But, I mean, that's better than zero, right? Otherwise, it was like a sure thing that that baby would die. I've watched videos about vets talking about this, and they said you can use this on your animals if they have a skin irritation, if they have an ear infection, an eye infection. And they also said it works for a urinary tract infection. You would just pour like a shot glass down your dog's throat, and it would actually go through their body and cure their urinary tract infection. So if it's going to do that, it's probably going to also have an impact on things that you don't even know you have. It's possible. My doctor did tell me that drinking it is something that should only be done in very few circumstances, because if you drink this prolonged, it can cause cancer. That's what she said. And you can also get argyria. I've seen it where people literally drink colloidal silver every day and your skin turns bluish purple, right? And that's not healthy, right? Everything in moderation. But I use this all the time as a topical spray. I spray it on my feet. If my feet get a little funky, and it works great, right? You spray this on your feet for like, you know, once a day before you put your socks on. And like I have really bad stinky feet, and my feet don't smell at all anymore. So it worked for me. It can work for you. But if you talk to your local vet about colloidal silver, they're going to tell you it doesn't work. You need to give your dog this medication. That will be $120, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks to refill that, right? This is something that's proactive. It can prevent you from contracting MRSA. I don't know if you ever had MRSA, but I can assure you it sucks. I had MRSA. I contracted it in a hospital, right? And I was on IV antibiotics for over a year. And it was absolutely excruciating. I had to have a PICC line in my arm, and I actually had a PICC line get infected, right? And that's something you don't want to deal with. You get a cut or a scrape, especially in times of SHTF when you can't, bathe frequently. This is going to work wonders, right? This is something that every prepper should absolutely have in their stockpile. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the thing that's had the biggest impact in my life. And these are peppermint seeds, right? And I'm not just talking about the seeds, I'm talking about the plant itself. I suffered from heartburn for years, right? Probably twice a week, I would drink one of those bottles of Maalox. No matter what I ate, I would have heartburn. And it's absolutely excruciating. If you've dealt with heartburn, it's miserable. But anyways, this changed my life because they were going to put me on Prilosec, right? Which is a medication for heartburn. And I don't like taking medications. That's my absolute last resort is I'm going to go towards medication. I'm going to try everything I can. And, you know, if I fail, yeah, I'm going to take the medication. However, this thing, you know, I grew mint in my garden. And every day I go out there and eat 10 mint leaves. And I haven't had heartburn since. I haven't ate mint for 2 years, and I haven't had heartburn one time. Right? I used to suffer with it every meal. I would drink a shot or two of this Maalox, and I haven't had heartburn for years. And this is what I attribute it to is peppermint. Absolutely changed my life. I've also been told that it can prevent menstrual cramps. So it's something that I believe could be a good barter material if shit were to hit the fan. Like a lot of people watch these doomsday movies and they think like they're going to be the last person on earth. And that's not the case, I assure you. And if SHTF were to happen, the likelihood of you running across someone that's very sickly is going to be increased dramatically when they can't seek medical treatment. And this little bag of seeds was $2 free shipping, right? 500 seeds. This is enough to, to supply a great amount of mint, right? You can always reproduce. Mint kind of, if you live in a place with good soil, you kind of got to watch it with mint because it will literally spread and take over your garden, right? So you don't want to plant it with your vegetables. However, this is something that I believe that anyone that is in a natural medicine has and any prepper should have. This is something, like mint is one of the easiest plants to grow. And it has a lot of benefits. I'll tell you what, I felt like I had more energy. I just felt better about everything when I was eating mint. And it's just crazy that more people don't know about peppermint. I've also tried spearmint, which I didn't really like. It didn't work as good for the heartburn for me. And I've also ate orange mint. And orange mint, it smells great, but it tastes like absolute dog shit. So, peppermint. Those are 4 things that I think you should have. And, here's one thing about natural medicine. If you talk to someone about natural medicine, if you tell them, hey man, you should try this, most of the time they're going to say no, or they're going to discount you and say that isn't going to work for me. These are 4 things that have worked for me. And they're 4 things that I absolutely believe will work for anyone or benefit anyone. So, especially in SHTF scenario, you're way more likely to get sick or to get ill or to hurt yourself than you are to get into a firefight. So that's one thing I think that people need to understand. You're way more likely to get injured. This morning, I busted my pinky. Check this out. Right? I broke this pinky. You see how big it is compared to this pinky? Right? That sucked. But you also gotta maintain positivity, right? So what happened was I got out of my car, a big gust of wind came and slammed the door on my pinky finger. This would be like, I don't even know how many times I've broken this pinky, but it's been multiple. This is like the worst, my worst health issue is I've broken this pinky several times. I'm just prone to hand injuries. I need my hands. I'm in a wheelchair, right? And I could have let it ruin my day. I could have said, man, this sucks, and my whole day could have sucked, right? But I just looked at it like this. I busted my pinky. It was the first thing I did in the morning. And I just thought, it's only going to be uphill from here. That's the worst thing that's going to happen to me today. The rest of my day is going to be great. And it has been, right? It still sucks. It hurts like hell. I tell you that. But You have to keep a positive mindset because your mindset is your greatest attribute, especially when times get tough. If you have a negative outlook now, I don't know what to tell you. If shit hits the fan, you're going to be your own worst enemy.